If you live by the gun, you die by the gun, and then you after live by the gun. NERDSoul. Late LK at OneYoungsta holding it down, bring you that Street Geek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we about to get into another wonderful episode of Talk Shop. That's right, we're talking about some comics and we're continuing our read along of Ghostbusters. Now, we finished up the first and second series runs of Eric Berman's joints and Dan Schoening, so we're going to go back a little bit and we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters The Other Side. Now, in this, we have a new writing team, a new art team, and it's I believe before the Dan run and everything. But we open up, we have the Ghostbusters, doing their thing. They're just living their daily lives. But we come into a meeting between some ghosts that seem to be organized. And you're exactly right. It's organized crime. You're talking about like Beanie Siegel, Lucky Luciano. These are the ghosts of super crime mob bosses that are all, kind of getting together and running their, how should you say, I don't know what the best term would be, their own little kind of like underground, prohibition-like business with getting ghosts out of purgatory and back into the real world. And it's an interesting look at how organized crime would carry on in the afterlife. I mean, I guess if you look at it this way, pimping don't stop. Pimping ain't easy, and pimping don't stop. So I guess pimps stay pimps in death. So I guess, these mob bosses would be the same thing. And not only do they continue to run their illegal business, but they feel the same way about law. And when I say law, I'm talking about the Ghostbusters. They show up. One of the ghosts, Fred or Freddy, he's not too keen on the Ghostbusters. It doesn't seem like the other guys are either, because they're running their organization or operation smooth as silk and they have no interference. Well, now here go the Ghostbusters wrecking shop. So guess what Fred decides to do? I'm going to jump into Pete's body, knock his spirit out, and kind of, how should you say, force the Ghostbusters to retreat. And it's interesting because he knocks Pete's soul out. Pete goes to purgatory, but he's still able to kind of like operate his body even without having the original soul there, which is something that we haven't seen in Ghostbusters before. Usually when someone's possessed, they're still, that person is still there. It's just that the new ghost is kind of like at the controls. And when this guy's at the controls, he's pretty dangerous, because not only does he take over Pete's body, but he also gets all of the other, I guess, crime organizations or the other bosses to come together and attack the Ghostbusters. And these aren't regular ghosts, because they're holding Tommy guns and all kinds of stuff. And they actually kill Winston, who tries to protect Ray and Egon, and then kill Ray and Egon. And it's crazy because all of this happens so fast that you're like, whoa, hold up. Were the Ghostbusters just killed? And the answer, unfortunately, is yes. They killed them, they put them in the Ecto-1, and they dumped them in the bottom of East River. And when our team wakes up, they're in purgatory, or the other side. And sadly, they are completely without a plan. Like, it's usually, Ray or Egon has some kind of idea, but you can tell there's no plan for them. There's no idea of how to move forward. But they don't really have time to think, because they are attacked by ghosts that aren't pleased to have them there, because our mob bosses have put a hit, if you will, out on the Ghostbusters. So they're fighting them, they're running away, and Winston ends up finding a girlfriend that had died in the past. And I ain't gonna front, for a shorty in purgatory, she doing all right. And with him finding his old girlfriend, Ray and Egon running away from this angry mob of ghosts that are trying to, I guess, kill them for the second time, because it's even brought up that maybe if you die twice, then that's your real death. Like you die normal, and then your normal regular death, and then you go to purgatory or something, right? And then you die again, and then that's your like, then you turn into nothing. But you have them running, you have the guys in your normal space in the real world kind of like resuming their criminal practices, and you're still looking for Peter. But before we find Peter and get on to what I think is pretty interesting about the transition to the other side, I got to remind you that you can find me on Black Hollywood Live. That's right, the first online network for African Americans. Super dope, and you can check them out on BlackHollywoodLive.com. Now they got celebrity interviews, after shows, sports talk, geek, nerd, tech, all that. And you can check them out day to day on YouTube.com/BlackHollywoodLive. So you got the angry mob. You got Winston Egon almost getting taken out and killed. You got Winston rekindling, I guess, a relationship that he had thought he lost. Well, I mean, he did lose, but he realizes that she still remembers him fondly, and she's still in love with him. And, you know, Janelle is, you know, she's putting the moves on him, kind of like, you know, I remember you and all that stuff. But guess who saves the guys? None other than a super Peter. And I say super Peter because in Purgatory, Peter seems to have all kinds of special powers. He can fly, he's super duper strong, all kinds of craziness. And I know you're probably sitting there wondering, how is Pete so strong? Well, of course, my people that are reading along with me, for some reason, there's some kind of strange loophole that if your body is knocked out of your soul, but your body is still alive, and you were, I guess, unjustly knocked out of your body, then your spirit does go to purgatory, but you retain some kind of special strength, some cosmic powers or something. So anyway, Peter is a boss. I mean, so much so that he beats up demons, he beats up normal people. I mean, he's ripping people to shreds, giving people like the Hadouken uppercut, all kinds of stuff. And it's interesting to see not only the sarcasm that Pete brings, but you add that with the strength that he now has here, you just can't take him. But just like we have in the real world, as ghosts in the real world, in Purgatory, we have Elliot Ness, we have J. Edgar Hoover, and they're from heaven coming down here to Purgatory, trying to figure out exactly how these people are getting back to Earth or to the real world. And they end up having their own beef with these mobsters from way back. So they're clashing. You got Pete and Egon and Winston trying to protect themselves from a demon that's literally trying to just eat them. And you have Pete, I guess, just beating up everybody that he can in arm's reach until he ends up just flying up to heaven and being like, yo guys, we can use some help. But of course, as in all lore, angels are always like, we can't help you, man. We up here. We got to keep the balance. It's like, but yeah, you're keeping the balance, but it's unbalanced, dude. Are you looking down there? Like, it's unbalanced. Move your butt. But I digress. Pete gets caught in a trap. A little kid comes through, helps him, and Pete is magnificent. I mean, you've never seen so much demon blood in your life. And after a special final confrontation, the Ghostbusters are, I guess, revived into their original states because the angels decided to step in and give them a little help because it was unfair how they went down. Now, I left the little stuff out because this is a family show, but let's just say the guy who possessed Pete, it's been a while since he was alive, so he wanted to sow his royal oats, if you will. But guys, in general, as far as this comic book goes, it's not, I'm so used to the Dan and the Eric style that it was an interesting adjustment getting into this. I don't think it's as cool as the new stuff, but I will say that you can find some fun in this because I do think they take the lore in a place that we haven't seen it before. So even though for me, the writing wasn't super to my liking, the art didn't really match Ghostbusters for me, I do think this is worth a read, man. I think you'll like to see kind of like the organized crime of the afterlife. I think it's something interesting. So, guys, holla at me. I'm gonna holla at you. Let me know what you think about Ghostbusters The Other Side. It's pretty cool. You can see IDW from the beginning kind of getting their footing and figuring out Ghostbusters as a property. So, before I bounce, I got to tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right. Check me out. All my videos are there from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.thatnerdsoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt, player. And don't forget one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That's right. Because there's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. And my shout outs go to LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please, if you ever see J. Edgar Hoover in the afterlife, he's not going to be a nice guy. Peace.